Hello and welcome, my dear friends. I'm so happy you're here with me today. In this video, I'll be sharing a watercolor sketch inspired by an unforgettable scene we encountered in Nevada near the Hoover Dam. Today, I'll take you along as I sketch this scene that moved me so deeply. I'll also share some of our travel footage, glimpses of the highway from Las Vegas to Hoover Dam, sweeping views of breathtaking Red Rock Canyon National Park and the Mojave Desert. Standing at the foot of Hoover Dam, with its monumental bridge arching overhead, you can't help but feel the scale of human ambition set against the enduring power of nature. And the reservoir, calm and immense, holds both promise and memory, reminding us how landscapes like our lives are shaped by forces seen and unseen. As we settle in for today's sketch, let's take a moment to get comfortable. Whether you're here to simply relax and unwind, or you've decided to pick up your art supplies to follow along with me. You saw me list the supplies I'm using today, and if you have different tools, that's perfectly fine. Use whatever feels right for you. I also want to note that the video is a bit sped up, so I could fit everything into a reasonable time frame. Please don't feel rushed. Slow down the play, pause or rewind it whenever you need it. And remember, this is your time to enjoy sketching if you decided to go for it. As I sketch, you'll notice my lines are loose and intuitive. If you're sketching along, I want to share that I didn't always know how to draw. Like many, I started from scratch without any formal art training. I'm still learning every time I pick up a pencil or brush. Drawing, like any skill, is something that grows with practice and patience. And if you're just starting out, I hope you'll give yourself space to enjoy the process. Let go of perfection and let your creativity flow, much like the wind shapes the desert, sometimes gently, sometimes with a burst of energy. Dear friends, let's sketch, explore watercolors, and enjoy this moment of creativity together. I want you to know that I am deeply grateful to share these moments with you, and I hope you find inspiration and a sense of calm as we sketch this beautiful, ever-changing desert scene. Alright, let's catch up on what we've done so far. At the start, I pre-mixed 3 beautiful colors: Cobalt Blue, Manganese Blue Hue, and Ultramarine. Before adding any color, I pre-wetted the paper using sweeping gestural strokes to set the stage for a loose, airy sky. As I applied the blues, I kept some color more saturated at the top of the paper, gradually letting it become paler and less intense as it moved towards the horizon. I also left some areas untouched to suggest drifting clouds, letting the white of the paper shine through. And along the way, I used the paper towel to dab away any excess fluid and color from my brush, keeping the water content on my brush slightly less than on the paper. This helped me control the strokes and prevent the colors from spreading too much. Since my room is quite dry and the paper dries quickly, the pre-wetted surface soaked in some of the water, leaving it moist but not overly saturated, just right for soft blended washes. And if you are just beginning your practice, I encourage you to experiment with the moisture levels on both your paper and your brush. Try using wet-on-wet techniques and pay attention to when cauliflowers or blooms appear and when it's better to wait for the paper to dry a bit more. These practices are so important for understanding the foundation of watercolor painting. And once you get a feel for how water and pigment interact, you'll gain confidence and freedom in your painting. And you'll be able to explore even more creative possibilities as you continue your watercolor painting journey. And as we take a little break from painting, I really want to share a glimpse of Red Rock Canyon National Conservation Area, the fascinating place I did not know existed before our recent trip to Nevada. Located just 15 miles west of Las Vegas, Red Rock Canyon is famous for its dramatic red sandstone formations, sculptured over millions of years by wind, water, and powerful tectonic forces. The iconic red and cream-colored cliffs, some rising up to 3,000 feet, were formed by Keystone Thrust Fault, making this area a fascinating destination for geology enthusiasts and nature lovers. Red Rock Canyon spans nearly 200,000 acres and is part of Mojave Desert ecosystem. Here you'll find over 600 plant species including Joshua trees, Mojave yucca, and vibrant wildflowers in spring. The area is also home to a variety of wildlife. Look closely and you might spot wild burros, desert bighorn sheep, or even the protected desert tortoise. This landscape has been shaped not only by natural forces but also by the people who have called it home for thousands of years. Evidence of ancient Native American cultures can still be seen in the form of petroglyphs, roasting pits, and pottery fragments scattered throughout the canyon. And if you got a chance to visit this amazing 13-mile scenic loop, please do it, and preferably during cooler seasons, as the place gets very hot during summer months. You see how I'm giving masking fluid a try to help preserve some highlights in the sketch. Honestly, I don't use it often, it can feel a bit heavy, and sometimes it leaves hard edges that don't always work for me. My masking fluid gotten a bit thick from sitting around, and my ruling pen is a little rusty too, but I thought it would be fun to experiment and see what happens. And if you are thinking about using masking fluid, here are a few things about this gum. It's great for saving bright highlights or fine details, especially when you want to keep the white of the paper. Always apply it to dry paper with a tool you don't mind sacrificing, and let it dry fully before painting over it. Now you see me painting more refined shapes in the landscape. Here I'm using a variegated wash with wet on dry technique. This means I'm applying my brush directly onto dry paper, but as I paint the shapes of the distant mountains, I'm letting the colors shift and mingle from purples to yellows to soft reds to cool greens. By varying the color as I move across each shape, I create a seamless transition that suggests the subtle changes in rock formations and vegetations far in the distance. A variegated wash is a wonderful way to bring life and interest to your backgrounds. Instead of using just one flat color, you allow two or more colors to blend naturally on the paper. With the wet on dry approach, you have more control over your edges and can place color exactly where you want it, while still taking advantage of watercolor's beautiful natural blending. And as you try these techniques yourselves, please don't be afraid to drop in a new color while the previous ones are still damp. This helps the colors merge softly without creating harsh lines, giving your painting a sense of depth and atmosphere. Letting the colors shift and play in the background is a simple but effective way to suggest the complexity of the landscape, all while keeping your brushwork loose and expressive. As I start suggesting the shapes of brittlebush flowers here in the foreground, I can't help but share my fascination with the incredible diversity of desert flora. After visiting the Mojave Desert in springtime for several years, I have been amazed to discover that what first appears barren is actually bursting with life and color. Alongside the bright yellow blooms of brittlebush, you'll often find California poppies, purple desert lupine, fiery orange desert mallow, and even the unique blossoms of Joshua trees. Spring in the desert is truly magical. Wildflowers seem to follow the warmth, carpeting the landscape in vibrant hues from February to May, depending on elevation. Early mornings are especially beautiful to me. The air is filled with birdsong, as so many species get busy preparing for nesting. The sounds and colors bring the Mojave Desert to life, and though it might seem harsh at first glance, it's a place incredibly rich with biodiversity. For me, there's an odd sense of feeling at home here, surrounded by the resilience and beauty of this ever-changing landscape. Now that we've taken a drive through the stunning Red Rock Canyon and the Mojave Desert with its iconic Joshua trees, I am back and ready to remove the masking gum on the paper that is fully dry now. I just want to say how happy I am to be painting for all of you today. Life has a funny way of guiding us, and I'm grateful that my own path has led me to a life centered on creativity and sharing art with you. It's hard to believe that I started this YouTube channel almost a year and a half ago. It still feels like a wild ride, and every video is a new challenge and adventure for me. My hope is to keep bringing you more exciting and valuable content in the future. And if you ever have questions, suggestions, or painting tips of your own, please share them in the comments below. I truly believe we all grow by learning from and supporting each other. And I'm so thankful to be part of this creative community with you. Did you just see how I intentionally splayed the brush hairs in different directions to mimic the wild, frayed edges of the fan palm leaves? I let the brush hairs separate and create those loose, textured ends that give the palms their distinctive, wind-blown look when I paint with this brush. This approach helps me suggest the energy and movement of the leaves without painting every detail. It's a playful way to let the brush do some of the work, capturing the untamed character of the desert palms. Please allow me to take you into the sensory world of the desert wind, a force you can see, hear, and even feel in your bones. I'll never forget the time we were caught in a sandstorm in Mojave Desert many years ago, when the wind was so fierce that even small pebbles were lifted and pelted against our car. It was such a relief to finally reach shelter that day. And more recently, during our stay in Las Vegas, we experienced a wind advisory with gusts reaching 65 miles per hour. While that's not hurricane level, traveling in such winds is a challenge of its own. We took it slow, and thankfully the winds eased up by a bit as we drove further. Wind is an essential part of desert life. It shapes the landscape in dramatic ways, carrying away fine sand and dust, sculpting rocks into sharp-edged, wind-carved stones, and forming vast sand dunes and desert pavement. The wind can even expose hidden rocks by stripping away loose soil, leaving behind a surface of pebbles and stones that protect the ground beneath from further erosion. Without much vegetation to slow it down, desert wind has a free rein, constantly transforming the land. Personally, I love the sensation of wind on my face and body. It feels invigorating, almost like a connection to something ancient. Maybe that's because my ancestors were nomads in Kyrgyzstan, traveling great distances, exposed to the elements. Even though I grew up in the modern world, I feel drawn to wild places, deserts, mountains, forests, where I can feel one with nature and our beautiful planet. The desert wind, with all its power and unpredictability, reminds me of that connection. Dear friends, as we come to the final stage of today's painting session, I want to thank you for joining me on this creative trip through Nevada and California desert. Together we've explored the windswept beauty near Hoover Dam, watched the fan palms sway, and admired the golden brittlebush blooming in the spring light. We took in the amazing beauty of Red Rock Canyon and the Mojave Desert, and I shared a bit about my own fascination with these wild, ever-changing landscapes, places that might seem barren at first, but are, in truth, alive with color, movement, and life. Throughout this sketch, you've seen me experiment with sweeping gestural strokes for the sky, variegated washes for the distant mountains, and even a little masking fluid to preserve the brightest highlights. I've talked about the importance of playing with your materials, of letting the wind, both literal and metaphorical, move through your work and shake things up. Sometimes that means trying new techniques, accepting unexpected results, and learning to see mistakes as part of the process. And I'll be honest here with you, painting and sketching bring me so much joy, but there are still moments of frustration when things don't turn out as I hoped. Over time, though, I've learned to be gentle with myself, to embrace those imperfections and to see them as steps in my own growth. Watercolor especially has taught me that we can't always control the outcome, and that's where the magic happens. Each brushstrokes, each bloom of color is a reminder that change is natural and that beauty often comes from letting go. And if you are watching this and thinking about starting your own creative path, whether it's with watercolors, pencils, collage, or any other medium, I encourage you to take that first step. You don't need formal training or fancy supplies. All you need is curiosity, a willingness to try, and a little patience with yourself. The act of creating, of expressing your thoughts and feelings through art can be deeply healing and rewarding. My dear friends, I hope my story and this painting inspire you to explore your own creativity. Whether you are here to relax, to learn, or to share your own experiences, you are all welcome in this space. Let's keep supporting each other, learning from our mistakes, and celebrating every small victory along the way. Thank you again for being here with me today. I can't wait to see you again soon, and until next time, may you find joy in every mark you make, and let your creativity lead you somewhere new.